He is born at midnight, not in a palace, not in a garden lit with oil lamps and celebration, in a prison cell. The walls of Mathura's darkest dungeon surround him. His mother, Devaki, breathes through pain in chains. His father, Vasudeva, watches with the eyes of a man who has already lost 6 children to the same tyrant's hands. Outside, a storm tears through the sky, thunder like the announcement of something the world is not yet prepared for. And then, the 8th child arrives. The guards fall into inexplicable sleep. The iron chains around Vasudeva's wrists fall open without a key. The cell doors, bolted from the outside, swing apart on their own. No herald, no ceremony, no crown. Just a divine silence that carries more weight than any proclamation, and a father who understands, without being told, that he must move, now. He didn't choose to be born into this. The danger, the prophecy, the tyrant uncle who had already murdered his siblings before they drew their second breath. But the cosmos had already chosen him. King Kamsa had received his warning years before. At his own sister Devaki's wedding, a celestial voice tore through the celebration like a blade. The 8th child of the woman you celebrate today will be the cause of your death. Kamsa's response was immediate and merciless. He imprisoned Devaki and Vasudeva the same night. He killed their first child himself with his own hands, then the second, then the third. Each time, silence. Each time, another chain added to the cell. 6 children had already been taken, and yet here stood the 8th. Vasudeva wraps the newborn in cloth and places him in a basket above his head. He walks into the Yamuna River in the middle of a monsoon storm. The waters rise to his chest, then his neck. Then, according to every scripture that records this night, the infant's foot touches the surface of the flood and the river parts. He reaches Gokul before dawn, exchanges the child with the newborn daughter of Yashoda and Nanda, 2 simple cowherds who will never fully understand what has been placed in their arms. He returns to the prison. The doors lock themselves behind him. When Kamsa rushes in at first light, he finds a baby girl. She slips from his hands, transforms into light, and delivers a final message before vanishing. The one destined to destroy you is already beyond your reach. His childhood unfolds in Vrindavan, a world of forests, rivers, and open sky. He grows up with the smell of cow milk and wet earth. He steals butter from his mother's kitchen with a grin that makes her unable to stay angry. He plays his flute on riverbanks while the entire forest seems to stop and listen. Yashoda, his foster mother, ties him to a wooden mortar when he misbehaves, and he drags it through 2 trees, which uproot and fall, releasing 2 divine beings who had been cursed within them for centuries. He is 6 years old. His cousin brothers and the village cowherd boys follow him everywhere, not because he asked them to, because something in his presence makes the world feel larger than it did the moment before he arrived. And yet the danger never stops coming to find him. Kamsa sends assassins disguised as demons. He sends Putana, a demoness who takes the form of a beautiful woman offering to nurse the child. She poisons the milk. Krishna drinks it anyway and takes her life force with it. He sends storm demons, serpent demons, whirlwind demons, one by one, without armor, without weapon, without fear. A child who is barely old enough to stand sends every one of them back into the darkness that birthed them. He is not performing miracles. He is simply being what he is. At 11, Kamsa issues a formal invitation, a festival in Mathura, a wrestling match. The real plan, professional wrestlers, Chanura and Mushtika, with orders to kill 2 boys from Gokul. Krishna arrives in Mathura with his elder brother Balarama. He has never seen a city before. The architecture, the crowds, the noise. And yet he walks through the gates of Mathura with the same ease he would walk into a forest. He wrestles Chanura. He kills Kamsa with his bare hands. He frees his parents, Devaki and Vasudeva, from the same chains they have worn for 16 years. He reinstates his grandfather Ugrasena on the throne. He does not take the crown himself. That is the first lesson in his strategy. Power is never the point. He builds Dwarka. Not in Mathura, where his enemies surround him on all sides. He moves his entire people, the Yadava clan, to a magnificent island city on the western coast of India, a city built in the sea beyond easy reach, a city designed with the logic of a man who understands that geography is strategy. Dwarka rises, its architecture, gold-spired, sea-girt, becomes a civilization. He studies under the sage Sandapani in Ujjain, mathematics, statecraft, the Vedas. Archery so precise it will one day change the outcome of a war. He learns everything, and he absorbs every lesson with the calm of someone who already knows that knowledge without wisdom is only information. He is adored by thousands. He has 8 principal wives. He plays his flute at dawn. He laughs often. But behind the eyes, behind the smile, there is always the watching, the calculating, the long view that no one else in the room is taking. Then the Pandavas rise, 5 princes, Desa Sanusura Pandu, bound to him through blood, through friendship, through dharma. They are honorable men in a world that has chosen corruption as its preferred language. Their cousins, the Kauravas, 100 brothers led by the arrogant Duryodhana, strip them of their kingdom through a rigged game of dice. Years of exile follow. When the time for war arrives, Krishna does something no one expects. He refuses to fight. He offers both sides a choice: take his entire army or take him alone, unarmed, serving only as a charioteer. Duryodhana, who sees armies and elephants in gold, takes the soldiers immediately. He considers himself the winner of the negotiation. Arjuna takes Krishna. The second lesson in his strategy: the right counsel is worth more than any army. The morning of the war at Kurukshetra, Arjuna's hands shake. He looks across the battlefield and sees his teachers, his uncles, his cousins, on the other side. He drops his bow. I cannot do this. What follows is not a motivational speech, it is 700 verses. A conversation between a divine charioteer and a warrior paralyzed by moral confusion that will be recorded, studied, and returned to for the next 5,000 years. Krishna does not tell Arjuna to stop feeling. He tells him to act without attachment to outcome. He does not tell him war is beautiful. He tells him that the soul is eternal, that duty cannot be abandoned, that clarity of purpose is itself a form of devotion. You have the right to perform your actions, but not to the fruits of those actions. The Bhagavad Gita, spoken on a battlefield between 2 armies in the silence before catastrophe, not in a temple, not in a palace, in the most impossible moment, the Pandavas win, but victory in his world never arrives without a cost that wasn't listed in the bargain. Gandhari, mother of the 100 Kauravas, a woman who blindfolded herself at marriage out of devotion to her blind husband and never removed that cloth for decades, removes it one final time over the field of her dead sons. And she looks at Krishna. You could have stopped this. You chose not to. Her curse lands like something inevitable. She tells him his entire dynasty, the Yadavas of Dwarka, will destroy themselves, that he will watch his people fall, that he will die alone in a forest by a hunter's arrow. Krishna accepts the curse with a single word: Tathastu. So be it, because he already knew. 36 years pass. Dwarka prospers and then slowly begins to rot from within, not through war, not through invasion, but through arrogance. The Yadavas, drunk on their own security, forget discipline. They mock holy sages, they disrespect wisdom, they choose entertainment over conscience. The sages curse them too. An iron pestle will emerge from within their own clan and destroy them. It does. The Yadavas fight each other on a beach at a festival, using reeds that harden into metal rods in their hands. They kill each other with the methodical precision of a people who have forgotten what they were once capable of being. Krishna stands in the middle of it. He cannot stop it. Even divinity does not override the consequences of collective choice. After he walks into the forest alone, he sits beneath a pipal tree. He rests, not with despair, but with the silence of a man who has completed something immense and set it down. A hunter named Jara moves through the trees tracking deer. He sees what he believes is movement in the undergrowth. A foot barely visible. its soul red-marked like a deer's eye in the shadows. He releases his arrow. It pierces the sole of Krishna's left foot. Jara comes running, expecting to find his prey. He finds instead the most revered being in the world, bleeding, eyes still serene. He collapses. He begs forgiveness. Krishna smiles. He tells Jara that he was not a hunter in a previous life. He was Vali, a warrior killed by Krishna in his previous incarnation as Rama, struck from behind through the trees. The arrow had simply found its way home across the centuries. The laws of karma apply to everyone, even to God. He blesses Jara. He asks him not to grieve, and with that, with forgiveness on his lips and a smile that had never fully left his face since the night he was born in a prison, he departs the mortal world. 7 days later, Dwarka is swallowed by the sea. What you learn from his life. He was never the strongest man in any room. He never wore the crown. He never claimed to be the hero of the story. He taught that detachment is not indifference, it is the freedom to act without fear of losing. He taught that the battlefield is not always a place of war. Sometimes it is the moment before you make the hardest decision of your life, when your hands are shaking and everything you love is on the other side of what duty asks of you. He taught that real strategy is not about defeating your enemy. It is about being so rooted in your purpose that your enemy's moves become irrelevant. He taught that joy is not the absence of difficulty. He was born in chains. He died from an arrow in the forest. Everything in between, the laughter, the music, the love, the war, the wisdom, was lived at full volume. He taught that the quality of a life is not measured by its circumstances. It is measured by what you choose to become inside them. If this video moves something in you, do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how this one landed for you, and let us know which life, which story, which legend do you want us to explore next. We're listening.